back to my cooking channel, the cooking manual. Today we're going to talk about mixing. I'm going to start from the simplest to the more complex and tell you what they're best used for. The first thing I'm going to talk about, and probably a lot of people haven't seen this, but this is a manual whisk that is helical. So basically you put this in your bowl, and as you push down, this spins. It's a very simple tool, but it's very useful. I use this mainly for making scrambled eggs for omelets. It fluffs up the eggs really nice. I wouldn't use this for something like whipped cream, because your arm would probably get pretty tired by the time you made whipped cream. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a tool called a frother. And this, you basically have multiple speeds, and this one has 3 speeds. This would be used in warm milk to make a latte. This will also do other drinks. You can use it to mix sugar into iced tea. You can froth up your coffee if you want. But mainly, this is a light-duty instrument, and it's made mainly to froth milk. The next thing I'm going to talk about is an immersion blender. These can be used similar to a regular blender, but what makes these really nice is when you're making a soup or a consommé and you've got larger pieces of vegetable in the hot soup, instead of taking that pan and dumping it into a blender, you can take your immerged blender and stick it into the pot where the soup is, and you can mix it around and dissolve all the larger chunks and make a really creamy, smooth soup or consommé. This is mainly what I use this for, is soups. A good all-purpose is the hand blender. I use this for a lot of things, mainly whipped cream. My wife uses it when she's cooking and making cake batter. I also use this for pancakes and waffles. It's very handy, and it comes in multiple speeds. I'll warn you, when you first start using it, start out slow, and as you start developing a current inside the bowl, you can keep ramping up the speed, but keep an eye on it so it doesn't overflow or splatter you. This is a great tool to have, and I would say it's a necessity to have. The next tool is the food processor. This is handy for chopping, grinding, making coleslaw. I use this attachment for making coleslaw. The larger holes allow the shredding of cabbage, carrots. Some people put radishes in their coleslaw, and it goes in. The brand that I like, and I'm not endorsing it because you can use whatever you like, but this is a Braun, and I like it because it can pulse. It has 16 different speeds. It goes together very easy, and when you put this together to use it, that's it, you lock it in. Some of the other food processors out there they're almost booby-trapped trying to get them all together. This one goes together and comes apart real easy. Again, putting the choppers in, this is used again for, chopping meat up. Some people make chicken salad. They'll take cooked turkey breast and put this in, and then add their pickles and their mayonnaise, and you end up with like chicken breast. Also, the nice thing about this, with this attachment, you also can have a juicer, and that comes in handy when a recipe calls for lemon juice, lime juice, or orange juice. Not too many, but sometimes grapefruit juice. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the blender. You've probably seen this blender on a lot of cooking shows. These people basically invented the blender. I'll turn it around so you can see. This is a midway model. I like it because it's all manual. I don't like all the fancy push buttons that allow you to choose different things. I like to be in control of what I'm making. So this is a Vitamix. And again, like I said, I'm not endorsed, but I think Vitamix is one of your best, if not the best, mixer on the market. It has a unbreakable polycarbonate bowl, and the lid goes right on and snaps in place. It has an area to enter. If you're making mayonnaise, you put in your egg, you put in the oil slowly till it emulsifies, and then when it's ready to go, you can pull this off. You know, blenders are used for soups, for smoothies, milkshakes. Even some people, if they don't have an immersion blender, you can still make your soups and cream soups and consommes in a blender. The Vitamix will take extremely hot liquids, and actually there's a function on this. If you turn it all the way up on high and let it run for like 5 minutes, it'll take a cool liquid and make it hot. So the other thing you probably see people do is once in a while you get a stall out, and what's happening is you've created a vortex and it sort of stops mixing. So they have this tool, which is really handy, that goes down in, and as you can see, it goes just far enough that it's not hitting the blade. But when you pump this, it allows to break up that vortex and get it mixing again. So not too many blenders offer this function. Vitamix is one of the few that offer the plunger to allow you to interrupt that vortex and allow you to get good blending. The other thing you want to look for when you get a blender is you want a square body, and you want ridges inside the unit, if you can see that. And this has a square body, and it has 4 protruding ridges on the inside. Why are they there? Well, they keep the fluid from vortexing and getting smooth and rotating with the blade. They interrupt that and allow for better mixing. So, like, subscribe, and give me a thumbs up. And next week, I promise, I will put a recipe together and show you some tips on cooking. Thanks for coming. Hope to see you next week.